America East, it's been topsy-turvy. Other than Vermont, who's undefeated, it's anyone's game on any given night.
Right, but both teams tonight, Carl, you're right, are well motivated. Stony Brook wants to get back on the winning track, particularly at home, and Binghamton wants to avoid falling to 1-3 rather.
Here is Timmy Rose, number one in Binghamton, almost 4 assists a game. Rose is a junior from Scranton, PA. Willie Rodriguez, who lit it up here last year, down low. Bruce, we've got a whistle.
Offensive foul.
Offensive, that's his first.
Yep, whenever you're a big man and you bounce the ball and drop your shoulder simultaneously, you can sell it as the defender as a charge.
Bruce is 6'9", 225. He is a junior from Washington, D.C. He's athletic. He's long. He's a monster when he's on the floor for this Binghamton Bearcats team.
Yeah, and he's grown some, and body really started to fill out now as a junior.
Brian Secunda was off the mark, chased down by Yaboa. He fires a three. It's off the mark. Rebound was stripped and picked there by Bruce, who leads the team. He comes down with 8.5 boards a game, and you had an interesting stat, almost twice as many, if not twice as many, as his nearest teammate.
Yeah, he's logged 142 rebounds total, and nobody else is even close to 100.
There's a travel against Stony Brook. Now, the must-dos for Stony Brook against Binghamton, Jeff Bowles said, keep it simple, and take care of the ball. They didn't there. For Binghamton, Tommy Dempsey said we have to handle the pressure against the most athletic team, he believes, in the America East, and guard the three-point line. Know where that shooter is, rotate to him.
Yes, and they'll play a lot of 2-3 zone, but they'll switch it up depending on personnel. 60% of the time they'll be in that 2-3 though, but they'll come out of traps and do some things off of it.
UC or Egbu off the hesitation, it was blocked. And in speaking with Jeff Bowles this morning, said don't pay attention to the record of 1-3 of Binghamton in the league. They're 10-9 overall, easily could be 3-1. They lost by 3 to Maine, they lost by 4 to New Hampshire, and they got blown out by Hartford. But in that Hartford game, Tommy Dempsey said anyone would have lost. Hartford was 18 of 23 that night from the arc.
Yeah, when I talked to him, he said, I don't know if I've ever seen that before. No. Well, unfortunately, the first time he saw it, he was the victim of it.
I told him in the conversation that I had separately yesterday, you spoke with him today at the shoot-around. There's your ball off the spin in traffic, got the little bounce, and it went down. Dempsey was saying, he goes, you'd be happy if a team would shoot 18 of 23 from a foul line.
Yeah, what he said that he had to have, though, was that his guys, his 3 top guys, and we've outlined some of them, Rodriguez, Shao, and Bruce, have to play to their numbers. And what do I always say, Carl? That your leading players, well, they got to play to or close to their numbers. He says when they don't do that, we really struggle.
In tight, Sturdivant takes it and flips it up. Second field goal. He's got 2. It's 4-0. And Jeff Bowles said that, you know what? Told the seniors, your time, go and shine. You got 12 games left in the regular season. Show me something now.
Right, and I think Ty has to challenge himself to be more assertive on the glass, and, to help establish a more firm inside presence for the Seawolves.
Bobby Ahearn, the senior from Marshfield, Mass., who knows what his role is. He's a blue-collar guy, knows the game of basketball. His uncle, Vinny Del Negro, who had a great career in the NBA, and Del Negro played for Adolph Rupp. That's basketball. That's
Absolutely.
Basketball right there by Yaboa.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken,
14 points. Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, Del Negro played at NC State, right? And I mean, just a terrific basketball player and a great, coaching mind. Coached the Bulls for a while as well.
Yep. Well, got another 3-ball right there. And that was knocked down by number 33, J.C. Shao, who's Mr. Pennsylvania in hoops back in 2014. His first 3. He's the best player on the team.
And here's a guy bringing across the ball now in Rodriguez, Mr. Versatility. He's a big, but he can do everything that a guard can do. A tremendously difficult guy to guard and account for. Who are you going to guard him with inevitably it can turn out to be a mismatch.
All-time leading scorer, 1,303 points coming into this one, 19 rebounds shy, becoming the all-time leading rebounder in Binghamton history.
Tremendous career in some tough circumstances where Binghamton was really trying to rebuild its program.
Now, who's they going to give credit to the basket? Because it looked like it could have been an offensive goaltend, and they haven't put anything up on the board yet for points.
Yeah, no whistle blew, so.
Well, they're going to give it to Willie Rodriguez, his first two. St. Tell on a dribble drive. And Rose thought he might have picked the pocket. There's a whistle-stopping play, 15:56 remaining in the first half. Binghamton with an early 2-point lead. America East basketball on ESPN3.
As competitive as it's been in terms of there's no team that you feel supreme confidence that you can just walk in and get a win. Everybody is out there contesting and capable of beating anybody on any given night.
All right, the basket we gave to Rodriguez was credited to Shao. He's got 5. The more important number, Timmy Rose, right at the break, had picked up his second personal. Farad Mohammed, number 0, sophomore from Florida, is on the floor for Binghamton. And he right now is trying to front Yeboah. Jeff Bernstein, our stat guy, the ball bounced right in his direction, Kurt. He didn't even approach to go for it.
Did not flinch. He was focused on crunching the numbers. Nothing takes him away from his job.
I didn't know he's already into tax season. He's not an accountant. Cornish tries to beat the horn. It's off the mark, and the rebound pulled by Shao. He's from Clark Summit, Pennsylvania. Number 1 scorer for Binghamton, 14.5 points a game. That's Mohammed, who you have to watch him. He hits 42% from the arc. Speaking of the arc, off the heel, missed by Shao. Secunda got it. They want to push it here with Jerron Cornish. Keeps the dribble and goes the distance, off the mark. Rebound pulled by Mohammed.
Yeah, you know, we saw Cornish really be able to do that in the out-of-conference season so efficiently, and it's kind of eluded him so far in conference play. Slumping a little bit, but you have no doubt that he'll bounce back and get it back.
This one whistled against Stony Brook away from the basketball as UC Egbu is going to check in number 1 for Stony Brook. The last foul was on Quasi Yeboah. That's the first for the redshirt sophomore from Chigwell, England.
No, you saw Shao on the last possession, even though it was a miss, dial it up from NBA range. So he makes himself a hard guard. And the thing about Binghamton that's different this year, they will score some points. I mean, they get up and want to play it around the 70 rate, where when they score 70, they give themselves a really good chance to win games.
Everson Davis, number 22, Kurt, on the floor. Backdoor cut. There it is, throwing it down. Tyler Stewart, redshirt freshman from Silver Spring, Maryland. Very talented but young, but he is getting minutes, 13 a night.
And got great length and athleticism, and you saw that right there with that tremendous finish. And those are the guys that they can help Binghamton. And Binghamton 9-2. Remember I mentioned that 70 point when they get to 70 or better.
That is not taking care of the basketball. That is a turnover whistled against Stony Brook.
Just a nice little high post entry to Bruce and then a bounce back door. Nicely done. Big to big. We're seeing more of that over the last 2 or 3 years in basketball, Carl. Bigs feeding other bigs.
Tyler Stewart knocked down his first 2. You know, you mentioned numbers for Binghamton. This is Shao on a pull-up. Off the mark, too strong. Rebound stripped from Tyler Stewart, and this will be against Stony Brook. Jacob Petrus is on the floor, number 32 for Stony Brook. When you mention numbers, Kurt, how about this revealing statistic that Binghamton is 9-0 when out-rebounding an opponent,
Exactly.
and 1-9 when out-rebounded.
Right, so I mean, it kind of epitomizes, we call Tommy Dempsey the fighter, right?
Yeah.
Because he comes across as a guy who oozes toughness, tries to impart that to his team. Rebounding's about that. It's a lot of toughness, and, you know, his team, no surprise, reflects that.
In traffic, Andrew Garcia could not pull off the reverse layup. This is Everson Davis. Fast pace now. It's picking up a little bit. Jump stop in the paint was missed by Stewart. And Elijah Olaniyi is in the ballgame, number 3.
And so you see a little bit of that youth, the inability to finish right there. getting moved off the spot, but the tenacity inside with the great block.
And then the jump shot is knocked down by Elijah Olaniyi, his first 3 points, the freshman from Newark, New Jersey.
Has seen its minutes go down a little bit as the lineup has changed a little bit as Coach Bowles experimenting. But look at that. Seawolves responding. A little block of their own, and it's a block party all of a sudden.
Aregbu, and last touch by Binghamton. Michael Almonacci, sophomore from locally right here, Brentwood, Long Island, not too far away minutes-wise, maybe 20 minutes. He replaces Jerron Cornish, and when you look at Almonacci, who comes onto the floor, he gets maybe 11 minutes a night, but the big numbers on the season, 23 assists, only 8 turnovers.
Right, so he takes care of the basketball, values it. Seawolves can't get it inbound there, off deflection that then touched the Seawolves, but he's a guy who had a great career. We talk about at Brentwood High School, but knows how to take care and handle the basketball. All-time
leading scorer there. Over 1,600 points. Shot clock down to 17. Played 7.5 minutes of the first half. To his right was Stewart. Drew the double. Here's Mohammed with 10 to shoot. On a pull-up going to his left. Drains the 3. And here's a guy, as I mentioned, hits 42% from the arc. He stretches the defense. He's from Windermere, Florida. He's a sophomore.
Well, I'll tell you what, you got to have supreme confidence to just put it on the floor and off the bounce, pull up for 3. That is a shooter's confidence.
Petrus was tied up, no basket. Arrow in favor of Stony Brook with 12:04 left. Coming back in, Timmy Rose, who enters the lineup once again with the 2 personal fouls. And also Brian Secunda, number 22, comes in for Stony Brook, and he replaces number 23, Andrew Garcia, who saw just maybe a minute or 2 before he's taken out. Remember, he's only seen action in maybe 4 or 5 games and hadn't played in 2 years, so you got to kind of watch his minutes too.
Yes, they are trying to control his minutes. I don't know if there's a formal number, but they just want to make sure that they take it easy with his coming back.
A long 3 with the shot clock had reset, so maybe an ill-advised look there. Comes right back for Tyler Stewart. It's long, chased down by Davis, then shovels it in traffic. We've got a foul. As Tyler Stewart gets fouled, he'll go to the line for 2 when we come back. Timeout on the floor, 11:39 remaining in the first half. Binghamton, by neither one of these teams are all that good, both shooting right at the 65% mark. And speaking of free throws, going to the line now, 62% on the year. 10 of 16 is Tyler Stewart, the redshirt freshman from Maryland, who's got a couple of points so far in this contest, missing the first.
Right, so we've kind of seen so many teams that shoot it well, how they're able to close out games, and the teams that don't shoot it well struggle down the stretch. And a lot of times, Carl, the difference between winning and losing is your success at the charity stripe.
After the second miss, there was a whistle, and it was a lane violation whistled against Stony Brook, so Stewart will get another one. And he converts, so off of a mistake, Kurt, he gets the point.
Right, and you can ill afford those, again, in these close games.
Does that go down as a miss?
I believe it statistically gets erased because it didn't occur.
Right, okay, so he makes 1 of 2. He's got 3, 5-point lead.
I believe the technical term is do-over. See that 2-3 zone, very active by Binghamton. They'll really extend, and even on a shooter, they'll challenge that shooter. Not easy to work. It's not a passive 2-3 zone, as per Tommy Dempsey.
There's Jacob Petrus. Brian Secunda had missed. Coming back in as a Quasi Yaboa. You know, you mentioned Brian Secunda who missed that shot. He hasn't really been scoring a whole lot, but over the last 4 games, he's been able to dish Kurt. Secunda has different roles now. He's played a lot of the 2 and not the 4 because they're trying to figure out the rotation. But in the last 4 games, Brian Secunda has 10 assists, only 2 turnovers. So he's valuing the basketball, and he's finding teammates.
Right, but, you know, teams constantly adjust. And one of the adjustments, talk about Tommy Dempsey loving the 2-3 zone. Well, you can see they're aligned right now, man to man. Why? Because UC Aregbo is down in your lower corner to your right on the baseline and Secunda's on the opposite baseline. He feels like those two shooters command attention with their ability to hit beyond the arc, and he says, nope, we're going to go man-to-man against those guys.
Pass is tipped and batted away, run down by Bobby Ahearn. Here come the Bearcats. This is Everson Davis, number 22. The ultimate role guy, knows exactly what he needs to do, just like Bobby Ahearn knows what to do. He knocks down his second triple. He's got 6 so far.
Built like a linebacker or a defensive end, but shot that like a guard. Nice little pick and pop on the exchange right there up top.
He is very important, says Tommy Dempsey of Ahearn, to this team. Largest lead of the game right now for Binghamton. Michael Almonacci answers with a 3-ball of his own. All-time leading scorer at Brentwood High School. Broke Mitch Kupchak's record, 1,665 points. First 3 of the night for Almonacci, the sophomore.
And by the way, as mentioned, as you build it, the assist to your guy.
Ahearn is met by Petrus. Willie Rodriguez wheeling and dealing in traffic. Secunda, 22, hits Davis, 22. And Secunda will get whistled for his first personal foul.
Your guy being Secunda on that assist there. Nice little entry pass at the foul line, and Secunda sharing the game.
Change it. They gave it to Almonacci, the personal foul, which I didn't see him even close to that play.
Didn't either.
And now coming in is J.C. Ncaa, top scorer, transfer from Bucknell. Here's the guy in Ncaa. He'll draw the best defender of the opponent. So when you have that best scorer going up against the best defender, it makes for some of the great matchups in college basketball.
Really does. And, a guy who obviously can score it, he'll attack the glass as well, Carl. He's the second leading rebounder on this team in terms of numbers.
Rose was shut off. 7 to shoot. Dribble penetration, spinning, looking. Rodriguez has it, lays it up with 1 second on the shot clock. Willie Rodriguez, his first 2 points.
That's what you got to love about his game. I mean, he can step outside, shoot a 3, he'll shoot baseline jumpers, but he can tough it out inside as well and get the hard buckets.
Long jumper, 3-ball, UC Egbu, his first 3 points. And if you go back to Rodriguez, Tommy Dempsey said his numbers are down. Why? Because he's not asked to do as much, Willie Rodriguez.
Right. They've gotten some balance offensively and some complementary scoring, and that allows him to not have to shoulder the load. And look at him working hard down there, padding those offensive rebounding stats a little bit and getting the putback.
Kurt, you and I commented. He's listed at 6'6", 200 from Orlando, Florida. There's a whistle with 9:06, and we've got a foul that's been called. It's a holding foul against Binghamton. And I don't know who they gave it to as Thomas Bruce comes back in and replaces Bobby Ahearn. There's Rodriguez. We both feel he's lost some weight from last year.
Yes.
He looks thinner and slimmer.
Looks a little leaner, but clearly just as strong.
Oh,
look at Bruce.
Twice! What
and
flew?
Then fights for the loose ball. You got to love that. You're big saying, not in my house, and then fights for the loose ball and comes up with it.
He leads the America East, 2.8 block shots a game, had 2 right there. Remember, pregame warm-up, he wasn't out here. He was in the locker room getting an IV because he's got the flu. What flu, I say?
Hey, I'll tell you what, shots are flying out of there is what they flew off his hand when you try to take it into the rim.
Up by 6, looking to extend. Run down there by Bruce. Plenty of time on the shot clock, showing 15 with Timmy Rose, who's playing with 2 personals, the junior from PA. Launches a 3. In and out. And good coverage on the basket right there. That's great box out by Tyrell Sturdivant.
It is, and they need that physical presence on the glass, particularly on the defensive side. You need to deny your opponent's second shots.
Akwasi with third field goal. He's got 7. Been struggling a little bit scoring-wise. Only 6 points each in the last 2 games after he went 22, 21, 24, 20, and 14.
Well, those numbers will draw you a lot of attention, and when you're playing some of the tougher teams in the league like Albany and Vermont, who are so defensive predicated, they're going to focus.
And the foul. Mohammed finding Rodriguez.
Does Rodriguez know how to move without the ball? Does he just flat out know how to play or what, Carl? I mean, we've seen inside, outside, putbacks. just all-around game from that young man.
Tremendous play right there. Mohammed finding Rodriguez, who will go to the line. Third leading scorer at 10.5 points a night, 55%. If there's a weak link in the game, it's for Willie Rodriguez at the free throw line.
Right. A lot of players between these two teams have that, as you wouldn't know it there with that attempt. And Jeff Bernstein scribbled a note to me. He said, could he slip to the first team?
No.
All conference?
Yeah. Come on.
Would Lamb hurt? Maybe.
I don't want to take advantage of an injured guy. And I don't know if he'd be slipping anyway. Oh, Yeboah on the follow.
Nice little finish there. I don't know if that was a pass or an aborted shot, but Yeboah opportunistic, and they need him active again and involved in the game. Picked up some fouls in Vermont that limited his play, and certainly being the focal point defensively.
The pace has really picked up now, Kurt.
Right, and it's not necessarily a beautiful game to watch, but it's frenetic and it is tightly contested, very physical.
Which you get every single night in America East action. Here's Rose, gives it up. Davis saw the opening and took it with his left hand.
Well, Davis recognized that he has Secunda, and Secunda, as you said, playing a lot more to two as a consequence, guarding twos. And at times, if you can put the ball on the floor, maybe you can catch Secunda a little bit to a disadvantage. Tommy
Dempsey said of Everson Davis, he's a guy when he's on offense, he knows where to pick his spots. He saw the opening there, and Everson Davis took it with his left hand. There's a whistle. There's a timeout on the floor with 6:51 remaining in this first half. Binghamton on top, 26-20. Up, knee on crutches. Don't know what the injury is, but I saw her prior to tonight, and obviously she wasn't happy, and understandably so.
Sure. So Seawolves trying to now get a road win. That much more difficult to do. A little bit undermanned at the point guard position.
Play back in, got a whistle. And again, the officiating crew of Lewis Garrison, Josh White, Casey Kett. Lewis Garrison hands the ball to J.C. Shao, and this will be Timmy Rose. Now, both teams are shooting well from the arc, 4 of 8 for Binghamton, 4 of 9 for Stony Brook, and that's a lay-in. That's an easy lay-in right there for Thomas Bruce, his first 2 points of the game.
Well, a great entry pass, and what Bruce did well is he held off Petrus, no easy task at 260 pounds, and created a seam for Rose to throw the ball to, and then once it was there, he's such a high riser, able to finish easily.
Cornish off the mark. Here's Everson Davis, watched by Cornish, coming down to 6 minutes remaining. Davis with an entry to Willie Rodriguez. All right, Bernstein, let's put Rodriguez on that first team if you think so. Who knows the America East basketball more than Jeff Bernstein over the years, right?
And as soon as – did you just jinx him into missing that shot now? Bernstein nods. Yes, he did.
By the way, Bernstein shows up late today, although he did send it. I'll be there like a tad busy today. Got here as Jacob Petrus sits down.
He's got stuff to do.
He does. He had to crunch numbers on the train ride back from the city.
Always crunching numbers.
Yeah, he is. He didn't even have time to stop and get his food that he picks up for himself and never asks us. Here's a long jumper who's off the mark by Shao on a rebound. This is Stony Brook bringing it up the floor there and getting fouled in the corner. Finding the guy in the corner was Regbu, and then getting fouled was Yeboah. Was he behind the line there? We got 3 or 2?
I believe he had set up. It was in the far corner, so we couldn't see where the toes were. But Yeboah, usually a guy who, when he runs into those corners and off those screens on the baseline or pin down, he's looking for that 3.
79% free throw shooter, now has 10 points, leading scorer for Stony Brook at 14 a night. The foul was committed by Everson Davis, his first. And Yeboah leading all scorers right now. He's the first guy to hit double figures. It's like a wet spot down on the far end of the floor. They're going to clean that up to our left. I'll tell you, these officials really have a great eye for all of this, and kudos to them. Josh White found it. Now they're got the mop out there cleaning it up.
I mean, that's the one thing over the years we've seen players take some tough spills stepping on wet spots.
Well, I'm going to say he was fouled on a 3-ball because he's now made 2 of 2 and nobody moves. So he's looking for the hat trick off the missed 3. That's how you get it done. 3 for 3 from the line. He's got 12, 5-point game. 5.5 remaining first half.
Seawolves counter now with some pressure. They typically play man-to-man. Now they go a little 1-2-2. 3-quarter court pressure. Slow the advance of the ball. Cut into the shot clock. And give Binghamton less time to work with on the offensive half.
Which is now down to 15 with Davis. Here's Rodriguez outside the arc being watched by Secunda. Rose to his right on the dribble. Penetration. Kick it back out. Davis. He does the drive with the left hand high off the window, but flying even higher for the rebound was Yeboah.
Great ball movement by Binghamton. Seawolves, good job rebounding the basketball off the miss.
Baseline, stepped out on the sideline, making his move there was Junior St. Tel, who's coming off that career-high 18 points in the loss to Vermont, 8 of 9 from the field, but yet to get on the scoreboard in this one.
Isn't it funny how often you see players on the sideline kick that back leg out and get called for it? And it's something I'm surprised that more people don't address because it happens so frequently.
Never happened to me because I never played, except in the street. And then you would say, come on, you didn't see that play.
Yeah, nobody's watching that on the defensive end.
Hey, no harm, no foul. Long jumper, that was missed by Shao. Batted around, last touch by Stony Brook. And there's the big guy. That's Thomas Bruce. What a player he is. Jeff Bowles said today, he's just a monster. He said Rodriguez plays like a first-teamer for the America East. There's Jeff Bernstein saying that. And we've got a whistle away from the ball. And it's against Binghamton. And Stony Brook with an opportunity here. Here's Anthony Oshefu, the freshman from Westchester, PA, the younger brother of Daniel, who played on the national champion Villanova team back in 2016. He doesn't play a whole lot. This is only his 11th game of the season. There's a 3-ball, and Yeboah is feeling it. He's got 15 points, one more than his average.
Yeah, and he can fill it up quickly. And when he's feeling it like that, and he's got the outside game going, it makes defending him inside so much tougher.
15 of the 26 of Stony Brook's points.
Bruce likes this righty jump hook.
And he drops that righty jump hook. Second field goal, he's got 4.
Has had that since day one, and with the great elevation and the length. And like I said, he was a 17-year-old freshman, very young guy, but body's starting to fill out and the athleticism and the explosion coming.
Are they kidding with Yeboah now?
Hey, feed it. Feed it. When a guy's hot, you feed the heat. A little high entry and now a little pick and roll.
3-ball. Look at this. Everson Davis, he's got 5.
And now what Binghamton likes to do, they like to trap. So if you put yourself on the sideline, they'll trap you. Then they drop back into the 2-3 zone.
Secunda faking it, goes to his left, inside the arc, rimmed in and out, rebound on a hop to Bruce, quickly ahead to Davis. Numbers are not there. Davis goes behind his back, leaves it for Rose, sets up for a 3, off the mark. Intention was really good, just that Rose missed that shot. Here's Yeboah again, and now it's up to Timmy Rose to watch him, and Rose is playing with 2 personals, so why wouldn't you go with Yeboah? He's got to kind of leave him alone.
Right.
And Yeboah's on fire.
Right. And Yeboah right there, smart play, Carl, because he realizes he's got a mismatch. He's got Rose guarding him, man-to-man. You don't give the ball up in that situation. You take advantage. Mouse in the house territory.
17 first half points. He totaled only 12, 6 in each of the last 2 games in the losses to Albany and Vermont. A 3-point game coming down to 2 minutes remaining off the mark. Yeboah on both ends of the floor now, pulling down the glass.
Right, good box out by both he and Ochefu.
So now Secunda with a chance for Stony Brook on this possession to tie the game. UC Eregbu, the senior from Sacramento, backing it out. Only 6 of 18 in his last 3 games in the field, so his scoring is down. Perhaps pushed it right there a little bit too much. And we've got a timeout on the floor. Only 1:48 remaining in this first half. Binghamton up by 3. American East basketball on Ward Melville lacrosse, arguably the best high school lacrosse program in the country. And I'm sorry for you fans up in West Genesee. Too bad. How about that?
And with all due respect to the lacrosse folks down in Maryland as well, right?
And the people up in Westchester, as Eregbu knocks down that free throw, he's got 4 points. No, honestly, the best lacrosse, women and men, high school level, right here on Long Island. 2 of 2 made from the free throw line. He's got 5, 1 point game. By the way, halftime, Jarrell Matthews, 17 points. Stony Brook women by 5, 38-33 over Binghamton.
And look at Stony Brook here. The men ramping up the pressure again, slowing Binghamton down, creating less time for them to operate in their half-court offense.
By the way, send those cards and letters regarding Ward Melville as the best program in boys lacrosse in the nation to Kurt Hilton, courtesy right here at Stony Brook University. I'm sure he'll get the message. Tapped out of bounds, and it will be Binghamton basketball.
Right now, Carl, you're seeing two teams fighting very intensely on every possession. You know, again, it's not a fluid offensive game, but that's not because of ineptitude. It's more because of a lot of tenacity on the defensive side of the ball.
I'll tell you, Kurt, we have not seen some of the rotation that we're seeing tonight for Stony Brook. Again, Jeff Bowles is looking for combinations right now as Shefu's out there. Michael Almonacci was getting minutes in the early part of this half. He's looking for combinations. He doesn't have that main guy, although you could argue that Akwazi Yeboah is the main guy. He's got...
So it's all well and good to have Yeboah at about 15 or 16 a game, but a couple other guys here or there got to chip into 12 to 15, and, you know, every once in a while it's good when a guy has a breakout game of 20-plus.
1:20 remaining on the clock. This is a fresh 30. The inbound swatted away there by Olaniyi, and it's picked up, and here comes Stony Brook with UC Eregbu and a chance to take the lead.
Great block without fouling from behind.
Yeboah to his left, and a great look to a Shefu who finishes.
How unselfish is that? If he takes that shot from the left elbow, nobody's going to bat an eye, but the presence of mind to make the extra pass.
Rejected again down low. Might have been a Shefu who runs down the floor to set himself up in the block. He was calling for the ball.
Boy, Alani wanted to let that fly. He didn't catch it cleanly on that right wing, and so they'll reset and get their secondary break going.
This is the first lead since 6-3 for Stony Brook. Whistle stops the clock with 32.5. No basket.
Hotly contested. We've said inside the Seawolves get a couple of blocks right there. But Shefu from behind. Prior to that, Binghamton had 6 blocks, Carl, to Stony Brook's 1. Seawolves picked up a couple, at least 1 there.
We're shooting 1-1 with UC Eregbu, who made his only 2 so far on the season. Pretty good. Came in at 73%, one of the better free throw shooters. Now 3 of 3 from the line. He's got 6. Chance to make it a 3-point game with 32.5 remaining in this first half. Yeboah sits down, game high 17, including 2 triples for the redshirt sophomore from Chigwell, England. He's got more points tonight than he had in minutes played. 16 minutes against Albany, 16 against Vermont, scored only 6 points in both of those games, 4 of 4 from the line for UC Eregbu, and it's a 3-point lead. Now what does Binghamton do here? Obviously hold for 1. Will they look for the tie? Are they going to get that good quick basket inside? Let's see.
In years past, it was almost exclusively go to Willie Rodriguez. Now you've got some diversity.
Options.
I think you've got some great options inside and outside, but I would think Ncaa and Rodriguez.
There's a great look by Rose, and drawing the contact, and he'll go to the line for 2 is Bobby Ahearn, the physical guy, the senior, 6'6", 225. He's the total blue-collar guy.
Right, a little pick and roll, and I outlined 2 options, and they go to a third off the pick and roll, and he's wide open on that, and big body, big collision.
76% free throw shooter, first trip to the line. Stony Brook on a 16-5 run right now to grab a 3-point lead. 7 points now for Ahearn. He's got 2 trifectas prior to that free throw that he just made. Tyler Stewart, number 5, is 1 sub that just came in, along with number 33 for Binghamton, J.C. Ncaa. 2nd of 2 for Ahearn. There will be time on the clock regardless. 1 point game. 10.9. Batted away. Oregbu being chased by Davis. Watching the clock with 5 and a quick timeout with 6.6.
I like the timeout. I like the pressure by Binghamton to force that timeout because they would not have.
Side of the Binghamton bench with 6.6. Stony Brook with a 1 point lead. Let's see what the option is. Yeboah's back on the floor. They stack it. And who's coming off the screen?
Nobody popping
Trouble.
free.
They get it. They try to return it. Secunda's going to fire it up from beyond the arc. Counts if it goes. Off the mark. Horn sounds. Half over. And it's a 1 point game. Stony Brook with a big run at the end has a 1 point lead. 36-35 behind 17 first half points. The best guy that he went up against. And he throws out a name to us and we said, whoa. Ty Law.
That's big time right there.
Wow.
That's Hall of Fame caliber talent. And by the way, Ty Law, remember, was a guy who was instrumental in that Patriots dynasty getting started because he was a big player in that first one on the show, the greatest show on turf that they knocked off.
And also it's a football night because Sean Ellis is here. Sean Ellis is the stepfather of Jordan McRae of Binghamton, who has not gotten into the game yet. Saw Sean earlier. Don't see him in a seat right now. So we've got football in the house on a basketball night. Just underway. Start of this second half. Binghamton 1-3 in league play. Stony Brook at 2-2. The America East is topsy-turvy. The only undefeated team is Vermont, and Vermont's playing without its best player and probably the best player in the league in Anthony Lamb, who's missed all conference play. But the Catamounts are still 4-0 as Jacob Petrus comes into the lineup. Number 32, and sitting it down will be Tyrell Sturdivant. So there's the big guy, 6'11", 270, a senior from Rajek, Slovakia, who will inbound the basketball.
Well,
and now pressure being picked up.
Yes, and it's not been kind of a typical basketball night. The football intensity is definitely there, Carl, and the physicality. This has been a tough game for both teams inside.
The entry to Petrus gathered it in, and then the kick out. 17 in the first half. He drops a step-back three. He's got 20, including 3 3-pointers.
So here's the great ability of Yeboah. That time he's matched up against Bruce. Bruce uncomfortable on the perimeter as a big, even though he's a tremendous shot blocker. And he just does the step back, puts it on the floor, gets the big man ISO'd, and knocks it down.
Largest lead of the game right now for Stony Brook. Off the spin in tight, did not go down for Bobby Ahearn, and then we've got a whistle and a foul. And if you're wondering, the season-high 30 points for Yeboah, that came back against Columbia earlier this season. That's also a career high that was on December the 7th. Skip pass. Knocked away, rejected was Bruce, and here come the Seawolves with Brian Secunda with a quick entry, and St. Tel with a step around the basket and then missed the reverse.
Well, might have had that shot altered. I think Rodriguez challenged it, but on the previous play, Petrus stood his ground, and the elevation of Bruce negated by just not being able to move Petrus.
Speaking of moving, 10 points now for Bobby Ahearn, the senior. I think it was the Albany game. Jeff Bowles, head coach of Stony Brook, said the team, Stony Brook, missed 21 layups. That was a layup that was just missed.
Right, and the Seawolves mishandle a basketball right there. Cornish fortunate to recover it.
I think Ncaa was trying to call for time, but it was poked loose, Kurt.
Yeah, never really clearly had possession.
Petrus with the baby hook. Rebound cleaned up there by Willie Rodriguez. Came in 19 rebounds shy of becoming the all-time leading rebounder. He's already the all-time leading scorer at Binghamton. Lost it, recovered, rose to the corner. Off the mark, Rodriguez. Rebound comes to Cornish.
Look at the versatility. You saw Rodriguez bring the ball up, move without the basketball, first to the post and then outside of the arc.
Long rebound to Rose. Missed by Secunda in that first half. Rodriguez, who now got the touch, only had 1 rebound. He's got to be more effective inside defensively like he was right there offensively, and he's got 9 points now.
Tough move, too, because he was on that right block, finished with the right hand. Lefty would have been better, but Rodriguez talented enough to alter the ball position and bank it off glass.
Corners look to turn the corner. Shao is on Secunda. St. Tel had the open baseline, then doubled up. Secunda to his right with 10 on a pull-up from 15. Nice rebound there by St. Tel.
Good recovery, good ball movement there by the Seawolves.
Just can't get it right now. Going up nice and strong, but it's not falling for Brian Secunda.
Right, and make no mistake, that closeout by Rodriguez right on time and hampered that shot as well. Again, defensive intensity by both teams.
Rose left his feet, and then drilling the three-pointer was Bobby Ahearn. That's his third three of the game. He's got 13, and it's a three-point lead for Binghamton.
How about me waxing poetic about the versatility of Rodriguez? Well, there's a pretty, versatile guy as well. 7-0 run being paced now by Ahearn for the Bearcats.
Nobody can stop Akwazi Yeboah, who's got 22 points, 8 more than a season average of 14, leading scorer on Stony Brook.
Very quietly intense as well. Very much a leader. You don't see him yelling and gesturing wildly on the court, but he's in 2 games. I mean, really doesn't cheat you with the effort.
You want to know something? If he's a baseball player, as Bruce went to his left, if he hit a home run, he put his head down like Mickey Mantle, run the bases, and go back into the dugout. Timeout on the floor. 15:57 remaining in this second half, and Binghamton up by the program. There was some lean times when he came in, and Tommy Dempsey, hopefully he's got them turned in the corner. 10-9. They had earlier this year, Kurt, had won 7 in a row from November 22nd through December the 17th.
Give him and guys like Rodriguez credit. They were there when the rebuilding was in the midst of its most difficult time, and they have stuck it out. And I think these guys are helping that institution turn the corner to basketball respectability again.
Meanwhile, up at Binghamton, the Stony Brook ladies, with 3 minutes left in the third quarter, up by 6, 46-40. Jarrell Matthews right now lighting it up. She's got 23 points for the Seawolves. Oh, left alone. Bruce didn't know he was all there by himself, and then recovered and beat Yeboah.
Yeah, and again, you see that little jump hook. That's his weapon of choice with the right hand. Got to try and make him spin left and use the left hand. But when he gets that deep in, that elevation, that great young length, a 20-year-old junior, Carl. This guy's getting it done in the books as well. Very accomplished.
And again, he was getting IV treatments. He's battling the flu prior to this game. It was knocked away, recovered, knocked by Bruce. That's at least his third block of this game. Actually, let's see. That is his third block.
Yes, sir.
He had 2 in the first half on the consecutive play.
And 7th overall by Binghamton. And you see how tough it's been to get a bucket. UC trying to lay it off, a little deflection there by Rodriguez, and then Bruce says, get that shot out of here.
Or as Jack Armstrong, former coach of Niagara, worked many games as he got into the broadcast booth. Now he's doing Toronto Raptors radio and TV. On a situation like that, Shao going to the line for the first time today. He now has 6 points. He is the best free throw shooter on the team, came in at 84%. Jack Armstrong would have said, get that garbage out of here.
Exactly.
And he still uses that. Go find him on YouTube. You'll hear him. 2 of 2 by Shao. He's got 7. Both teams shooting very, very well from the line.
The closer you get to the court, the more risque the language becomes when blocks occur. I can guarantee you that.
Nice ball fake by Olaniyi. Stepped up, hit the heel. Who's chasing it down? It's Brian Secunda. Quickly reversing to Aregbu. Here's Secunda again, watched by Bruce, bouncing inside to Yeboah. He draws the double. Now Aregbu is wide open for a 3. Olaniyi in traffic through 2 Binghamton defenders came up with it. And then Yeboah falls short, as does the shot. And they're going to keep it on the Stony Brook end of the floor because we've got a whistle and a foul. There's Tommy Dempsey, 60-year head coach of Binghamton, longtime coach at Ryder down in New Jersey, graduated from Susquehanna back in 1997. Right now, Binghamton to take the 5-point lead, courtesy of an 11-2 run, Kurt.
How about the defensive rotations by the Bearcats on that last possession? Pretty good. Only uncontested shot was Aregbu's.
Missed inside on a chip shot by Ushefu. Davis on Secunda. Secunda knocks 22 out of the play.
Nice deflection by Secunda. Again, defensive intensity by both these teams. They do it differently, but they do it well.
Rimmed out, great rotation. Try to tip it up, Olaniyi. Battle for it. It's loose. Green shirts, white shirts. Who wants it? And the fumble is recovered by who? Possession arrow for Binghamton.
But you like it. This is America East.
Oh, yeah.
This is March already right here, this kind of game. Guys diving on the floor, every possession valuable, struggling offensively because the defense is so intense. It's a good game despite not being a thing of beauty.
And a big game for Stony Brook because this game followed a 3-game road trip. One at Hartford, lost at Albany, lost at Vermont, here to Binghamton, and then right back on the road for the next 2, New Hampshire and UMass Lowell.
So the Seawolves showing a little bit of wrinkle. Again, they've shown it in this game a few times. The 1-2-2, 3-quarter court pressure. Then they drop off and back into their man-to-man.
Oh, behind the back on Rose, step back. He gives to Xiao.
Xiao's been trying to get that deep 3 untracked. Hasn't really been able to find a shot.
That was an ankle breaker, but then he got doubled. Then finds Rodriguez.
Hey, setting up his teammate. So passes up the 3, throws on a little crossover clinic, and then the nice finish to the big fella.
Xiao can do it all. He's the best player on the team. He's the best leader on the team. He's a shot maker. He's a clutch player, and he made a clutch pass.
And Binghamton really doing a good job. So here you see it. Xiao gets into the teeth of the defense. Looks like he's bottled up a little niftiness with the passing game and a finish, solid flush by Rodriguez.
Pete Carrill watching on that backdoor cut.
Hey, I'll tell you what, he's always omnipresent because those, it seems to be back in vogue now with all of this overplay and defensive intensity. Take advantage of it's basketball's version of the reverse.
And I'll take that over a 3-pointer any day. It's just a picture-perfect,
pretty
beautiful play. Yeah. Cornish. Oshefu was rejected, got it back, second effort, second field goal, he's got 4.
I'll tell you what, though, Bruce is a force in the middle because even he affects shots. If he doesn't block it outright, you're aware of his presence, he changes it. That time there was a block in there, but it was by Rodriguez because ball handler saw Bruce and froze, tried to get airspace, and Rodriguez was there to help.
Could we take the word arguably out, just say he's the best defender in the America East as Davis takes it to the rack? He's got 7.
Well, I think interior is different than exterior, so I'll qualify it with best interior defender.
That's fair. That's a fair assessment, too. Because he's really not going to come out to the perimeter. 7-point game. Here's Cornish looking to cut into that lead. Flipped it up, got the roll.
But,
nice
I mean, did you see how much earlier he began that shot because of the presence of Bruce? And, I mean, he makes you account for him when you're going to the rim.
Cornish had 9 points, 5 rebounds in the last game against Vermont. Last 2 games, another guy that's cherished the ball has 10 assists and only 2 turnovers. A long 3 by Xiao, a longer rebound to Cornish. Head up, here's a Red Bull on a streak. And the foul!
That's a nice pass and through a tight window right there.
When we come tonight, 4 for 4, he's got 9 on the season, 73%, came in averaging just under 8, so he's already above his average. Both teams real good from the line. Binghamton 6 of 7. Stony Brook has not missed. Shouldn't have said that. Way to go, Carl. Just continue your yearly trend.
You're amazingly consistent.
Oh, my gosh.
Couple of things, though, Carl. When you look at the numbers, Stony Brook out-rebounding Binghamton by 10, 32-22. Yeah. That's a big number. Binghamton clinging to a 3-point lead. And the Seawolves, they've only shot 29% here in the second half.
Yeboah snakes his way in. He's got 24, 6 shy of his career high, as we're coming down to the 11-minute mark in a 1-point game.
And how about that acrobatic finish by Yeboah in the middle? Again, all predicated, started off the game shooting the 3 well and the jumper, and then now the intelligence to put it on the floor.
Kurt, he's having a great game. Davis on a pull-up from the left side, back tapped, comes out to Mohammed for a 3 high. Ahearn goes for it, pulls it down. Mohammed thought about it, now takes it deep and gets the bounce. He's got 5. What I was going to say is sooner or later, a great game by Akwasi Yeboah with a game-high 24. Kurt, he needs help. He's getting some from Regbu, who's got 9, but someone else is going to have to come up and get points.
Right. And how about the rugged play of Ahearn, who's having a heck of a game himself?
Well, here are the 2 words that Coach Tommy Dempsey said. Blue collar.
Yeah. Has given you everything you needed on the dirty side by Binghamton, and that's just dirty right there. Deep 3 by Cornish.
Second field goal, first triple. He's got 5, game tied at 52 as we hit the midway point of this second half. Binghamton 1-3 in the league. Stony Brook at 2-2. Off the mark, and who's there but Ahearn? Did he save it? No, but great hustle in his effort.
Couldn't control it. Great position on the offensive glass to get a hand on that. Just couldn't track it down through the contact. And, you know, the Seawolves been good and aggressive defensively. Tommy Dempsey said a lot of teams pack it in and really are conservative in the defensive half court. He said Stony Brook, nope, they're aggressive and they try to turn you over and then get opportunities out of that in transition.
Here's Jerron Cornish working in the backcourt with UC Regbu. Yeboah up front with his Shefu and Olaniyi, who takes the back door and then reverses. Swatted away, but we have a foul. It looks like Willie Rodriguez committed the foul, and we'll shoot free throws with Olaniyi, who will go to the line for the first time in this game. 17 of 30 on the year, 56%.
Beautiful diagonal pass from the wing to find Olaniyi on the baseline. But again, you know, Bruce is the headliner as the chief of the block association, but right there, Rodriguez and Ahearn combining as well.
Third on Rodriguez. Olaniyi nets the first. He's got 4. Substitution. Jacob Petrus coming in 32, as well as number 32 for Binghamton, and that is Thomas Bruce. Ahearn sits down and for the Bearcats.
Rodriguez with that third foul. You know, as a senior, Carl, part of your job description is you got to manage your foul situation. You got to learn how. You got to know how to play with that. Rodriguez too valuable offensively.
And then who's doing the mopping up over there in front of the bench before the ball boy came out? Look at Jacob Petrus. You know, to be around him, you're having a good time.
Oh,
Kurt.
Absolutely.
And look, he's waving to the band. They acknowledged his house cleaning.
Jacob should have been in that show on HBO, Entourage. You know, but who is he? The guy with the entourage? Because he's not really part of the entourage. He attracts.
No, he is the entourage
yes.
at 6'11", 270. We come back with Binghamton on offense, and Timmy Rose, like Rodriguez, playing with 3 personals. 12 to shoot for Rose, went in deep. Mohammed left wide open at the line. In tight Rodriguez and over the top. Boy, Rodriguez had great position right there on a quasi-Yeboah.
So right there, too, that was a product of Rodriguez sneaking behind. The Seawolves change up to a 2-3 zone. And when you're used to playing man-to-man, Carl, it can be very difficult defensively to get your block out when you now switch to zone because you're not blocking a specific man. Now you're blocking an area.
Farad Mohammed gave it up. Rose on the baseline, nowhere to go.
Cut off nicely by the Seawolves. They had an opportunity for Shao in the corner. Couldn't see him.
Shao watched there by Cornish. Takes it in, and then the pull-up. Rimmed out. Bruce tried to get a hand on it, but it was snagged by Stony Brook, who wants to push it right now. Inside 9 minutes to play in this second half.
And that's a nice block out by Olaniyi.
Oh, rejected again by Bruce, and it stayed in bounds for Rodriguez. Yeboah went in deep, and he was met by the big guy.
Looked like a volleyball player right there on that spike.
Does he go down in the stats? Is that a spike right there? I mean, watch this guy go and get it.
This is a deterrent, my friend. Get in there. Oh, my goodness. I mean, that counts as a kill, doesn't it?
Counts as a kill, and it counts as a save possession for Bill Russell and the Boston Celtics.
You like that right
there?
Oh,
yeah. I bring it up all the time.
Good defensive basketball, though. I mean, both teams really just playing.
Oh, missed the alley-oop to Bruce, but then it was followed up by Rodriguez. He missed with the left hand and protected there by Petrus.
Got both hands on it like a running back.
Cornish, here's Secunda just looking to get something going. on the inside pass, and he finds Petrus for his first two.
You highlighted his switch to the 2 has facilitated improved passing in that 6'6" frame. Passes over the defense, finds the seam, and then Jacob with a nice finish.
3-point lead for Stony Brook. Coming down to the 8-minute mark. Here's Mohammed, catch, shoot. Rodriguez on the weak side, stepping through, and he'll go to the line for 2. This is a 12-2 run for Stony Brook to take a 3-point lead. Rodriguez to the line for the second time. He's already 1 for 1. He's got 11 so far.
Seawolves have countered nicely defensively, facilitating that 12-2 run with a little switch to zone themselves, but Akwazi Yeboah coming up to challenge the shot left that wing position open, and the second offensive rebound now that Binghamton's been able to get as a result of the zone play.
12 points now for Rodriguez. Came in the third leading scorer at 10 points a game. Averaged 4 rebounds as well. Checking back into the Stony Brook lineup is Tyrell Sturdivant. Jacob Petrus sits down. Good minutes by Petrus.
Always active.
Yep.
Always physical.
Missed the second. Window cleaned up there by Yeboah. And here's Jerron Cornish. Gives it to UC Eregbu.
Top of the broadcast, you highlighted both teams' struggles at times from the free throw line.
Missing the corner 3. Run down by Rose. Head up. Wants to push this offense. His pass is deflected by Cornish. Picked off there by UC Eregbu. 3 ball. Yeboah. Getting a hand on it was Sturdivant. There's a whistle. We'll come back. We'll straighten it all out. It's a 2-point game. Stony Brook over Binghamton. American
Pounds, and he bodies his guy up and physically moves guys. You know, it's not always just about the points. In the America East, it's about the activity and the effort, and his effort and energy is infectious.
And that smile is as well.
Always. I mean, he was rocking the, like a do-rag kind of get up before the game. He's just always got something going on.
Timeout quickly on the floor. We're still at a 2-point game for Stony Brook. America tastes so much better when they come off a win.
Absolutely. It's a long road trip back from Binghamton to Stony Brook, and you want to get that W when you're on that road, boy, because maybe you get a little movie on the bus, some extra perks.
Her previous career high was 23 earlier this year against Hartford, so she's pretty much blown past that.
Man, look at Bruce high-rising, changing the offense.
Oh, how about the offense there with Cornish on a reverse. Left side goes right side. He's got 7 4-point game.
What did he do, though? Use the rim as protection and went to the reverse. Keep the shot blocker at bay using the rim.
Well, you said Tommy Dempsey's got the name of a prize fighter. Let's see what the prize fight comes down to here. Punch, counter punch. We got a double dribble turnover, and it goes back to the Seawolves.
This is a great use of the rim. I mean, you see Bruce, he's challenging altered shots, but can't do anything when the rim's in the way. Cornish saying, you know what, I got some help. Let me use the rim as my friend.
Bruce has 4 of the 8 Binghamton block shots. Thomas Bruce came in as the #1 shot blocker in the America East at 2.8, so he's above his season average per game. And they back it out here. Here's Cornish outside the arc. Kick it to the inside to Sturdivant. Back out to Cornish for a trifecta. Banks it home!
Hey, despite the fact that they typically close at 6, extended hours, Carl. He gets the extended hours and knocks it down.
And now it's been widened to a 7-point game, but a lot of time with 6.5 minutes left. Willie Rodriguez will check in for Binghamton on the next whistle.
Yeah, they need some offense. They've not been getting anything solid. Seawolves defense has really picked up since they switched the zone.
Rose came to a stop, nowhere to go, and then flipped it up way off the mark and pulled down by Secunda. Cornish backs it up to Secunda. Yeboah turns, skip past Cornish left side, watched there by Mohammed. Reverses back movement to Cornish for 3. Oh, and there's a big snag there by Bruce.
How about that with the Velcro hands? I mean, he said, that rebound is mine.
That three is off the mark by 33. J.C. Shaw slowing it down to Stony Brook now.
Yeah, Shaw's just not been able. They've not been going down for him. I think he's 1 for 6 now from three-point range.
And only 2 of 10 shooting in the contest.
And those are the things, Tommy Dempsey talked about. Remember, my guys who get numbers got to get their numbers.
Secunda finally drains one. It's his first 3 points of the game. Stony Brook has opened it up to a 10-point lead.
Play Teddy Pendergrass right now is wake up everybody because everybody's into this game. But right now, Tommy Dempsey needs his offense to wake up, Carl, because they have not been able to manufacture any at all, and that's why the Seawolves have raced out to this 10-point lead. They've played well defensively, but they're getting no return on that offensive side.
Here's Rodriguez. Kind of a token press that was very relaxed by Stony Brook.
Just want to take time off the shot clock, shorten the possession.
Huge possession with only 8 seconds left. Bruce able to snag. Cutting in, 12-footer, off the mark, missed by Mohammed, and taken down there by the opposite number 0, Jerron Cornish.
Yeah, they can't buy a bucket right now, and the Seawolves in rhythm against that zone. Look at that wide open shot.
Knock it down, 3 ball, second of the game, 12 points now for UC Eregbu.
Great recognition, though, by Yeboah. He sets that all up, gets it at the high post, the entry, and just watches which way is the defense rotating, and he goes counter.
Rodriguez holding it. Here's Rose. Need to generate. Mohammed. Shaw to his right. In deep. A runner. Blocking foul has been called. And Tyrell Sturtevant says, me?
Yeah, that's a tough one right there. But you know what? I think this officiating crew has done an exceptional job. This has been a physical game, and it's going to be 4 fouls right there. On Sturtevant.
7 on Stony Brook as a team. Binghamton has committed 5. Shaw to the line. 2 of 2 so far. He's got 7. I'll tell you that he's 84%, so that'll ruin this one. He'll probably miss it now.
But he needs to play to that number and get himself untracked here, And any possession that Binghamton can get where they score points with the clock stop now helps their effort.
Want to see a guy miss? Shaw's 3 of 3 so far tonight.
There you go. All right, here we go. What's that game show that they used to say, here comes the whammy?
I forgot the name of it, but I know what you're talking about.
Might have been the Joker's Wild. I'm not sure.
No, it wasn't the Joker's Wild, but I didn't get whammied there. He's got 9.
So despite the best efforts.
Some pressure, and from behind, poked forward, and Petrus picked it up.
Right, Seawolves here, they want to milk the clock. They want to get the best available shot, but they want to take some time off the clock, shorten the game.
Boy, Jeff Bowles is working overtime. He's probably sweating more than when he played at Ohio University.
Hey, I think most of these coaches say it's so much harder to coach than play. Great pick and roll.
And the foul!
And did you expect anything less from Jacob Petrus in terms of...
And on the season, 11 of 20 from the free throw line. It's 1 shot. It's only 1 shot. They've called for 1. Okay.
And I think that's the way it should be, Carl. This game, the outcome hasn't been determined yet. I think if, it was a technical or anything, you could really put this one away for the Seawolves.
There's a miss by Petrus. By the way, Stony Brook 67-59 over Binghamton, a final. Jarrell Matthews, career high, 28 points, pulled down 6 boards, had 3 steals in a good game and a good win for Stony Brook, 10-8, and more importantly, 2-3 in American East play as Yeboah on the rebound.
Shaw's going to look back at the film of this game and see a lot of opportunities for him, and it's just one of those nights. No knock on the young man, but just hasn't been able to buy a bucket, particularly from beyond the arc, where in this second half, by the way, Carl, Binghamton now 1 of 9.
Cornish, it's rejected. I don't know if it was Mohammed or Bruce, but Binghamton has the ball, and it's Shaw for 3. And just like that, he comes up with the big shot. Coach says he's a shot maker, a clutch shot maker. He's got 12-second triple.
Well, he's been a shot taker, that's for sure, but now he made one, perhaps his most difficult one of the night.
Petrus and the foul!
with a little stiff arm to boot. Jacob with a pick and roll again. This time no pick really, just the roll, and then says, get out of my way.
Is he showing me the muscle of 272 pounds on a 6'11 frame for the senior from Slovakia? He's got 6 points in this game. Now I got to check to see if that's a season high, because he doesn't score a whole lot. Free throw just grazed the front eye, but it was run down there beautifully by Jerron Cornish.
Hey, well, Cornish, scouting report, self-scout. You got to know your own team. Jacob likely to miss. So Cornish anticipating it. Nice job. And look at Petrus. He's calling for it. Says, I'm hot.
Well, his career high is 9. He's done that twice. Came against Maine last February. But he ties his season high of 6, which he's done on now 4 occasions this year. Yeboah goes to the line where he's 3 for 3. Got 24 points, had 17 at the break. It's 1-1 situation right now. Missed, batted up in the air, and Yeboah, help from Cornish.
2 offensive rebounds for the Seawolves. Even though they don't score the points, Carl, the time that they're taking off the clock, Binghamton is really going to rue that as well.
12 to shoot. Yeboah, heel, rebound to Everson Davis with his head up. Leaves it for Shao, ducks under, goes window, it's short, back tap, Rodriguez reverse Mohammed.
Too much dribbling.
3 ball off the mark, Davis off the back tap, he'll take it in deep, and he's fouled. Stops the clock, Davis to the line for 2, has not gone there yet. 70% free throw shooter on the season.
So let's focus on Bruce, because for a guy who was hooked up to IVs before the game and was questionable as to whether or not he would play, he has maxed out on effort. Those last 2, offensive back taps, if you will, he created 2 extra opportunities for his team. They just can't get him to go.
This is Thomas Bruce on IV. Could we go watch him when he's healthy and not suffering the effects of the flu?
Oh, my goodness. I mean, I'll tell you what, just having seen his career, he has grown up so quickly. Like now, he's in beast mode. He might be ready to take that over from Marshawn Lynch.
Well, you used beast. Jeff Bowles described him as a monster. Either way, he's one heck of a player.
And that's no fairy tale, I'll tell you that.
Inside 2 minutes, Stony Brook with the ball, 11-point lead, and then Davis gives the foul. We're still shooting 1-1, 9th foul on Binghamton. Stony Brook has committed 18 fouls.
Well, remember, too, you spotlighted it early in the broadcast. Both of these teams have their struggles from the free throw line.
But tonight they're both shooting great.
What will trend now in the final 2 minutes? That could still determine the game. This game not out of reach still for Binghamton.
66%, 20 of 30 on the season. First trip to the line. Now Cornish has 11. There's Tommy Dempsey. His team was rocking and rolling in the early parts of this second half, but the lid went on the basket for a while.
Yeah, I mean, it's like somebody put saran wrap up there and nothing would go down for them.
Well, 2 free throws went down there for Cornish, 13-point lead. You see the free throw shooting pretty good by both teams.
Seawolves are the token pressure, then they drop back.
Shao to his right, a 3 at the heel. The rebound, it was stripped away. Here's Davis, 1-on-3, went to the glass.
Boy, they needed that score, and timeout Binghamton right there. Had to have that score at all costs.
Per night.
Right, and I mean, also only took 1 shot. He's 0 for 1. But, St. Tel is, I still classified despite his occasional 3 attempt. He's an inside the paint guy. And when you've got a Bruce, that is altering your blueprint significantly.
You also got some great contributions from Cornish and Eregbu, who each have 12 points in this game as we're going to shoot some free throws. By the way, final scores: Vermont 11 better than New Hampshire 67-56. Now 5-0 in America East play. Albany rebounds from the loss to Binghamton 70-62 over UMass Lowell. Albany 3-3, and Hartford by 12 over Maine with 6 minutes left in that contest as Yeboah goes to the line.
And Yeboah has been the guy now that, when you talk about statistically, might be the guy down the stretch that you got to get the ball in his hands if you're going to get fouled. He's been the most consistent.
79% coming in tonight's game. Now with 26 points, 5 of 6 from the line. He's got 3 3-pointers. He's 4 shy of a career high of 30. Comfortable lead. Looking for 3. Shao missed, and a rebound for Yeboah. Foul given in the backcourt. Stops the clock with 1:21. And I think if these are made, the clock will just run out.
And Shao just giving that rueful smile, like, I don't know, man, because he's gotten looks. And that's, I think, what makes basketball so tough to coach, is because he's a guy. He's a guy who's got to have the ball in his hands, and you know he can score it. And, Carl, he's had some great looks, and they just have not gone down.
Double bonus right now, 2 shots for Cornish, who's now 3 of 3 from the line. He's got 13 points. There's the number, which now makes it 1 in 10 when out-rebounded.
Right, and in that category, they have been significantly out-rebounded. I mean, Binghamton closed the gap to last time out to single digits, but for the most part, Seawolves have had a double-digit edge in that category.
So Cornish has 14, looking for another long one. Davis got it, almost upended, kick it out to Muhammad, a long 3. That one is way off the mark, and they battle. They just got to fire up and get points. That one didn't go by Davis. Back tapped again. In tight is Davis, and we got a whistle, stop, and play.
And you can just see the frustration on the part of Binghamton because they just can't get shots to go. I mean, they're contesting, they're fighting, they're competing. But tonight, every once in a while in basketball, it's just not your night, and it hasn't been their night. And Jacob Petrus checks out and gets a warm ovation from the home court fans, and well-deserved.
He leaves with 6 points, which ties his season high, but he had some quality minutes in that. Some quality minutes played as Davis will go to the line. He's got 10 points. He came in averaging 7. He's 1 for 2 from the line and now has 11 points. Should Stony Brook hold on, and it looks like they will, improve to 8 and 11 overall. More importantly, 3 and 2. And then they go up and take on some team, the Wildcats, on Sunday. Billy Herrion in New Hampshire at 1 o'clock. 2 of 2 made. He's got 12. And New Hampshire's going to be angry because they lost tonight.
And it's dogs and cats right there.
Oh, yeah.
Seawolves and Wildcats. It'll be a fight.
Less than a minute remaining.
Cornish content to just take time out. Seawolves they've played about as good a second half and executed what they needed to as they have all season.
Got a whistle, stops it with 34 seconds.
I'll tell you what, though, Carl, despite the loss and Binghamton looks to drop to 1 and 4, not an easy team to play. You do not necessarily want to play this team because, defense travels, and they played good defense tonight. They just did not have enough offense to supplement it, but they are tough. They're competitive. They got some big bodies. Their season's not a wrap by any stretch of the imagination yet.
Cornish now with 15. Misses that one. And we're counting it down now to the final 30 seconds. Shao drains it. He's got 15, but it really wasn't the 15 that you'd normally see. That's his 3rd triple. He's got more than a season average, but it wasn't a J.C. Shao game. No,
it wasn't an impact 15, and he knows it. And, you can see his reaction like he felt like, hey, I've had my opportunities, just couldn't cash in.
Counting it down. Stony Brook goes to 3 and 2. Binghamton falls to 1 and 4 in America East play. Stony Brook wins at 77-66, courtesy 26 points, game high.